What's up, everybody? Thanks for hanging out Bridgeside for another edition of Bridgeside Sports Live. Here we are on Labor Day. This is a very sad day for some of us, right? Us teachers, is the last day of our vacation. But I hope everybody's out there enjoyed the day. And we're going to come to you with an hour of sports talk. And today's a special day because we are talking exclusively football. This is a big football show today.
We love it.
All right?
Let's do it, baby.
We're coming off college football first week, and we're going into first week of NFL. So we're going to talk a lot of football today. First, let me introduce you to everybody on set. As always, I'm your host, Boo. To my left here, we have Win Allen, rocking the Tigers jersey, throwback.
Gotta represent, man.
Got to represent. How many hits did you wear while you had that sophomore year? How many hits did you have?
This is your
Sophomore
jersey?
year? Yeah.
When were you number 5?
Sophomore year, the good numbers were all taken, so you kind of...
How was your sophomore year? Do you remember?
Not too good. I didn't get too much burn that year.
That's why the jersey looks crisp.
That's why
and
the
clean.
jersey does look crisp. The other two were just ruined.
Very nice.
It's the only one I
Let's
have
give him a
left.
little credit. He was MVP 2 years later.
Oh, thanks, Phil.
Yeah.
MVP, nice.
MVP
Yeah.
2 years later.
Very
I don't
nice.
call him back now. Fort Hamilton High School.
To his left, we have the sports science, the doctor,
What's going on, everybody?
Philly Cags. Nice to have you.
How's everybody going? How's everybody doing?
I'm doing all right. Everybody's doing well, I think.
What's up, people?
What's up, people? He's
We're
going. And then finally, we have the analyst.
What's up? What's up?
He's rocking the
Your
Julio.
boy.
You ready for Julio this weekend?
Oh my God, I can't wait. I might miss it though. We got
Well, that's what I was going to talk about next. Is, as always, we have producing in the corner. Nobody puts him in the corner. Nobody puts baby in the corner.
He puts himself in the corner.
But he puts himself there. That's DB. That's Donnie Boss. And this is his last Monday night show as a free man. Right?
Donnie, how do you feel about that?
Big wedding coming up this weekend.
How do you feel about
You
it?
excited?
yeah, very.
All right.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, sounds like it. But, yeah, we are a little bit concerned that we might miss some of the games this weekend because we are going to be upstate, but it's for a good cause. We get to see Donnie tie the knot,
Charity.
which is going to be cool. So it's nice to have Donnie here last weekend as a free man. But let's get right into it. We're going to hit you off with the question of the night for those that want to get in on it. Question of the night is straightforward. Which two teams, NFL teams, are going to be playing in the Super Bowl Sunday? All right, so if you have any opinions, get them in now throughout the show. We'd love to comment on them. And we're going to get to our picks eventually. So that's our question of the night. And we're going to kick it right off with some college football. All right, so
NCAA.
this was our first week, college football. Not so many upsets, but some interesting things going on. So we'll start with Phil. Anything catch your eye this weekend, college football?
Well, I think when we start college football, we have to start with the game that went on between Alabama and FSU.
That was the marquee matchup.
That was
right? One versus
It's a
three.
huge matchup for first week. You know, I feel like they've done that a lot these last couple of years. I mean, just when I've noticed, they've always had these big top 5 matchups in this first week. But I think it's, as always, solidified some Alabama dominance. I mean, they came out, Florida State could not move the ball at all.
Dude, this Alabama team, it's just every year seems like it's a little bit better than the last, right?
I don't know how he do. I mean, it's the recruiting and everything, but you give Nick Saban months to prepare for the team. They didn't have a chance.
How
Florida
much
State.
credit are you giving to Nick Saban for this Alabama just wrecking squad
Juggernaut?
every year?
85%.
You're gonna go me?
85%.
Actually, I'm okay with that.
No,
I'm okay with that.
Absolutely.
That's big.
Yeah, I got to agree. I think it's a little less than that because a lot of it goes to his recruiting. I mean, the guys who actually
Absolutely.
go out and get these players, Alabama has the best recruiting class every year.
But is that because of
almost-
Nick Saban?
Exactly. That's because people want to play for Nick Saban.
I agree.
Took the words out of my mouth.
But there's got to be guys bouncing around, doing a lot of the legwork to find out who these best players are. Granted, I know there are polls, but it's not easy to go recruiting. They got to have a tremendous staff, and I'm sure they make a ton of money for the university.
That's
but
what I'm saying, yeah.
Alabama is just such a powerhouse these days. It's like them and everybody else.
It's true, but because of Nick Saban, those recruiters have the pick of everyone, essentially. Almost, how many people are really going to turn down Alabama at this point? I'm sure there's some who just don't want to play in Alabama or anything like that, but Nick Saban allows those recruiters to have, carte blanche. Just pick whoever's the best player.
Well, that's what makes it so hard for all these other teams to catch up is because as Alabama keeps getting better and better, it's easier to recruit and recruit.
Right.
So the team just doesn't fall off. You know, it just keeps reloading basically at every position, and they looked pretty good week 1.
Yeah, but then wasn't there a bunch of years in the 2000s where it was like USC and Ohio State doing that for a while?
With Pete Carroll.
Right, but Saban wasn't there. That was the time he was with the Dolphins, and before that he was with LSU, and he was good. LSU was very good too at that point.
They won a national title.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, couldn't those teams also be doing the same thing at that time, building their recruiting, getting better and better?
Absolutely.
So what happens? How did they end up falling off in Alabama? Like, it does switch hands eventually.
I mean, listen, I find it hard to say it's 85% Nick Saban when then we saw him going to the NFL and he didn't do so well.
Well, there's some people that coach college and they're good at coaching college, and some people that can't coach at the NFL.
You're coaching grown men in the pros. I mean, Alabama, you're coaching 18, 19-year-old kids. Not kids, they look like grown men, most of them, but
and you're not going into a draft where you're like stuck in a position where, I got to take this guy. You can get all the best guys you want if you really want to. You know what I mean?
It's
easier.
It's a different animal.
Yeah.
Just moving on. So, what are some other things maybe caught your eye when just around the league week 1?
I mean, how amazing was the long snapper on USC?
That was unbelievable.
He's blind. I think his last name's Olsen. And
Jake Olsen.
Jake Olsen. Thank you. And when I first heard it, I was like, there was a blind long snapper for USC. My first reaction was, wow, that's cool. But I thought, is it that big a deal because they just have to snap? Then I thought about, wait a second, if they're covering a punt and blocking and this and that. Granted, they put him in the game, but for him to do that, it was, I think, an amazing feat. And you got to give him a lot of credit. I mean, right?
I would say so.
I still think that him just snapping it blind is amazing. I know you say, it's not that big.
Listen, it's a huge deal.
You can't see your mistakes.
No, I know it's a huge deal, but I think it's a lot of muscle memory, right? I mean, if somebody says, all right, if they set you up and tell you, all right, it's really hard, yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, say,
it's really hard.
You don't know how high you snapped it or anything like that.
Unless he's been doing it forever,
right,
maybe.
It's the same motion over and over.
I guess it's the only position you could.
Okay, that, yes.
You could do blind. Not to take a thing away from him.
No, absolutely not.
It's amazing. But I guess it is muscle memory at that position. And, I mean, was it a successful snap? And
right.
Kick?
Yeah, perfect snap, boom, extra point. And there were... His kicker, the holder ran onto the field with him, kind of set him up.
Yeah.
The ref was actually like, it was a blowout at this point. I think it was like maybe 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It wasn't a lot of time, but it was still awesome. And Olsen will have his name, in the history of USC, which is
something I'll forget too.
Yeah, he'll have that jersey like that. That's amazing. I
think before he went blind, he wasn't born blind.
He was.
I think before
he was 12 years old.
I think before he went blind, when USC was big, like Chris was saying, he came onto the field. He went to like their camp, their summer camp, or whatever it may be, and he saw their whole thing, and he played with the team and stuff like that.
Definitely a sick story. You see a lot of stories like that in college that you wouldn't be able to see in the pros because the guy, you don't see stuff like that happen in the pros. Donnie, I know you're a college football guy. What impressed you? What team impressed you this week?
Well, that Wisconsin game was great. They went after it.
They were down early,
10-0
early, and then they scored the last 52. I think.
It really was. It was at least a 30-point run there.
That was one of your picks, and Donnie and Boo, correct?
That was actually
that was my.
That
pick.
was your
pick.
pick. 27-point favorite.
They were, but they covered handily.
Yeah, it was easy.
I don't know. I'm personally a fan of Notre Dame, so it was good to see them go out and take care of business. No issue there. The schedule is going to get tougher from here on out, so. We'll have to wait and see, but
anybody that you have an eye on that can challenge Bama at this point because they look super strong after the.
A lot of the it's a weird thing. I would say USC because that's what a lot of the experts are saying. That's usually who I tend to follow, but
they gave 31 points to Western Michigan.
That's the thing, right? Exactly.
Even though
the defense is not strong, they're an offensive team though, and you know how that is. If you see like the last couple of years, Oregon was one of those teams that their offense would carry them game after game, but. They would give up a ton of points every game, but that would still bring them into like nowadays a playoff situation.
Chip Kelly, yeah.
I mean, I want to get to this because this is really the first time we talk college football on the air, right?
I think I know what you're saying.
I mean, it's entertaining to watch, and you see these numbers that you never see in the NFL. You see teams scoring 72
especially
points,
week 1.
And stuff like that. You see spreads of 45 and 50. So I'll kick it to you, Chris. I mean, is college football, compare it to the NFL in terms of how you enjoy it when you watch it. Can it hold up against it? Can you watch like you can watch the NFL? Are you as into it?
I mean, I know that like a lot of people, they either like hate it, they won't watch it at all and just watch the NFL, or they love it because it's a lot more exciting. I mean, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of big
different
plays
rules too.
It's a gambler's dream.
Yeah,
you're never out of a game in a college football game.
Right.
The clock stops constantly, out of bounds, first down. You only need 1 foot.
Well,
the
I gotta
overtime
say,
rules.
I like the rules in college football.
Yeah, I do.
I really do.
mean,
I like some of the. I like that it's not exactly the same as the NFL.
No,
It
I do
makes
too.
for
It's
a good
definitely different.
Good viewing experience. I like the 1 foot. I like the clock stopping.
I'm not a big
on
fan of
first
that.
Yeah,
down.
not big fan
Speaking-
of the 1 foot either.
Speaking of 1 foot, how did we not bring up UCLA's comeback last night? They were down 44-10.
Yeah.
They won
unbelievable.
They won 45-44. The guy Rosen, had an unbelievable game, and the fake spike at the end of the game was
I love
only
that play.
But you know what? It wasn't. It didn't
They
even
don't do it
work.
enough.
It didn't even work though. It worked, but the guy wasn't faked out on the spike. He just made a perfect pass on a fade route. You know what I mean? And he got 1 foot in, not two. In the NFL, it's out of bounds, but in college, they win. I know it's one game, but that puts you on like a Heisman watch kind of thing.
Down 30?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Down 34 in the third quarter.
Late in the third quarter.
Yeah, that's a joke. And Texas A&M should be disgusted. Their coaching staff should be taken out and just shot, because that's how do you give up a game like
old
that?
Yellow situation?
Does Nick Saban blow that game?
Nick Saban? They don't give up 44 points all year. Are you kidding me? It's
True. That's true. All right, so let's move it on. It's nice to finally talk a little college football. I'm sure we'll chime in with some more during the season.
Yeah.
But let's get to our next topic. So we're talking NFL now. This is it. Our first game on Thursday. We got the Pats and the Chiefs opening up on Thursday. So let's just talk a little bit about NFL season preview. And let's just keep it broad. What are you thinking about going in here? Are there some teams that you like? Some
The
some sleepers?
G-Men.
So I'll start with win. Who's on your radar to start this NFL season that you're really looking into?
We're obviously based in Brooklyn. I think everybody on this panel are Giant fans. Clearly, Mike.
Wow, really? Yeah.
Yeah, we're all
Nice.
Giant fans.
Just like we're all Yankee fans.
Yeah,
ODB,
they
baby.
usually run together.
Absolutely.
People who don't know, Giants Yankees
OBJ.
is typical.
ODB.
Mets
OB
Jets.
Wu-Tang.
Oh, dirty bad.
All right, whenever you guys are done.
All right. Go ahead.
But Donnie's a Jet fan, the poor guy. But I think the Giants are going to be one of the best teams in football this year. I think their defense is a top 5 defense. Their offense should be explosive and we spoke about this a long time ago when we did the draft preview, if the Giants' offensive line can somehow keep Manning upright and get a little bit of a running game going, I think that the sky's the limit for this team.
Chris, I know you have some concerns about the Giants.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be as good as we think. Their defense could carry us, I think.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's so crazy to think because a couple of years ago our defense was horrible. And last year, we were not expecting them to be as good as they were. So, are they even better? Is their defense even better this year, Phil?
I think so. To me, the best guy they got last year was Jenkins. I thought Jenkins was unbelievable.
Well worth the money. And they paid him a lot.
Unbelievable. I know. And all their free agents were great. Vernon, Harrison, and Jenkins. I think Collins is only getting better, and last year he took a huge step. I think they got a guy that, if you're watching the preseason, a linebacker, B.J. Goodson, who we have been missing linebackers for so long. This guy was all over the field in preseason. He looked good. And maybe he looked good because we're so used to horrible Giants linebackers.
Yeah.
But this guy looked good. If he's going to be a good player in that middle of that defense, that can mean a lot to that defense because everywhere else, we're really strong on defense. But I am extremely worried about their offensive line.
Yeah.
I have seen nothing that has encouraged me at all about their offensive line. And I do feel like if their offensive line is bad, they're going to waste the season because they're not a team that's, they're a team that's
built to win now.
Yeah. And in 1 or 2 years, in which they have a team for it. Why don't they give up as many picks as you want for Joe Thomas? Why are the Browns hold on to this guy? Do what you have to do. Move Flowers from the left tackle.
I think they had to have made a conscious decision to keep Flowers at the left tackle. They must they must see something that says this guy is still good enough to be a left tackle. I don't necessarily see it, but I am by no means an offensive line guru. You know what I mean?
No, I don't think anyone else has called you that. But
so there has to be something that these guys are seeing that says, this guy's good enough to carry
He's still
the
young.
offensive line. The left tackle is the most important position on the offensive line. That and arguably the center.
Yeah.
But Rich Berg's good.
He's good and Pugh's
solid.
good. That's it.
So they do have a good foundation up the middle. left tackle's the key. If you get guys blitzing on that side,
And their
he's
right
not-
tackle's
John
not good either.
Jerry's not exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
right
that's-
side's not that good. Yeah.
That's the reality
Jerry
you
and,
get.
and Barry,
We're going to have to look
Bobby
it up.
Hart.
Bobby Hart, I'm sorry. Yeah,
One of
Bobby
the
Hart.
segments today is we're looking at Madden ratings. We're going to have to look at the Giants' offensive line.
I know them
gotta
already.
see-
Oh, he knows them. He looked them up already.
Pretty sad.
That could
Yeah,
be
I
a
mean-
problem.
memorized.
Richburg's over 80. Pugh's like 86. Flowers is 71.
That's terrible.
Hart is
If
like
you create a player, he's probably
Hart is like
starting over
70.
him.
Eric Flowers
And
is 71.
Yeah, and John Jerry's like 70. There's like three guys
That's
70,
terrible.
around 70.
That's really
or low
bad.
70s. So it's bad.
Well, what about
Yeah,
running
that's
back? Do we have any
That's the
concerns with Perkins
yes.
too?
Those guys could be good running backs if the line was good. I am
I like
concerned.
Perkins.
I do like Perkins, but that line is horrible.
Yeah,
Well, let's be honest. The Giants aren't exactly going to be a running team this year.
but they
They're
should
going to
have
be.
been.
Hold on, but they're going to be a spread them out. They have
Hold on.
mismatches all over the field. They're going to throw 60% of the time. With Vereen healthy, out of the backfield, they're going to throw constantly.
60% might be
That
low.
seems to be the NFL these days.
Yeah,
right?
it is.
I mean,
it is, and that's
you-
why you need 3 good corners. That's why they have 3 good corners to defend other teams. Everybody
they do.
spreads everybody
Eli
out.
Apple.
I want to
good for
change
them.
gears a little bit because we talked about how the Giants have become more of a passing team every year. And, I mean, it seems like in today's NFL, you always hear today's NFL is a passing league, this and that. I think you really saw it in the playoffs, too. I mean, I don't know. Can a defensive-minded team win the Super Bowl?
Of course they can.
Yeah, I mean,
course.
it did happen 2
Denver
years
did
ago.
it.
Yeah,
But it doesn't
Seattle
happen like
did
it
it.
used to be. That was what you needed.
Well, you still need a defense.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think. I
No,
mean,
unless you got an unbelievable.
I don't
offense.
think
like
so.
the, like the Falcons.
and they lost.
They lost, but they made the Super Bowl.
All right, but who they played? They played the Packers, another bad defense.
Right, because
You know what
everybody
I'm
wants,
saying?
But
No.
I mean, you're saying something that they're playing these teams in the playoffs. All the teams that were playoff teams in the NFC, it seemed like were these offensive teams.
Yeah, but you got to be built that way. It shouldn't be, okay, because the NFL's moving in that direction, let's all move in that direction. No, if your team's not built like that, then you shouldn't be like that.
But then if you
That's why
see
the
these
Giants,
teams being
the Giants'
successful-
identity is wrong. They have the wrong identity right now. They want to be a pass-happy team, but they have a great defense, which is fine. But you can't be a pass-happy team if you don't have a good offensive line. If you look at all the good pass-happy teams, their offensive lines are very, very good. Pittsburgh, great offensive line. New England, great offensive line. Even the Saints have a pretty good offensive line. I think everybody, Packers, they all have great offensive lines. You need to build your line to have a good pass game. Otherwise, you're never going to get the ball downfield. You're never going to get the protection you need, especially for a sitting duck like Eli Manning.
And
so
he is. Oh my
he
God,
is a
he's
complete
sitting
sitting
duck.
duck.
I agree.
Chris
in
has a lot of good points.
I agree in everything you just said, but the 5 of us can be the Patriots' offensive line. They would still be good. with Brady
you're
on
probably
the-
right. But I'm
you know
saying
what I mean?
most
Is it really offensive line? Is just Brady knowing,
most
my line
quarterbacks
stinks
are
here,
going
let
to
me
need
move
a
the ball.
decent offensive line. You know, they need at least a decent offensive line. And also, most quarterbacks that aren't Brady, Breeze, and Rodgers need some sort of a running game to complement them. If they don't, they're going to be one-dimensional and they're going to get killed. And that's why I think that what might happen to us. I don't care how many weapons we have out there to throw to. It's not going to work if you don't have it up front.
The time, right? I hear you.
I don't think one dimensional is as important anymore. I know that and Chris and I both said, well, Denver, it can happen, but I think you need a real exceptionally good defense. That Denver defense wasn't just a great defense. That was especially you put them 15 years ago, they were probably one of the best defenses if you think about all the rule changes. But I don't think you necessarily need to be more than one-dimensional. In the run game, I think it's more and more so the offensive line. I think all the points you hit on offensive line were the most
running backs are a
important.
dime a dozen.
I think exactly. I think the Giants could get, if they had a good offensive line, they could get away with running it to Paul Perkins every now and then and being pass happy because no one's going to cover
Plus,
Beckham down the field.
We got
and
Vereen, we got other ones,
exactly.
too.
It really comes down to the offensive line.
All right, so that's enough of the Giants talk. Let's just switch it to the rest of the league. Phil, you have any sleeper picks? Any teams that you think are going to surprise this year?
You know, I think I'm looking at the divisional standings right now, and I like a team. I like from the South. I think the South is really
NFC?
up. Yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you. The NFC South is really up for grabs because
It's a loaded division.
It's a loaded division because the Panthers had a bad year last year, but don't sleep on them this year. The Bucks have just continued to only get better and better.
I'm not big
and
on
no
them.
one talks about the Bucks. Well,
That's okay.
that's okay.
That's all.
I think the team you're least worried about in the division is the Saints, and they could beat
Anybody,
any week. You go into New Orleans with Breeze, and he just throws it around. But I put the Panthers as a team that might be a little bit under the radar because they had a bad year last year coming off the Super Bowl. I think they got better with McCaffrey. It's the first time Cam has someone to throw the ball in the backfield. Kelvin Benjamin's back another year. The defense is always solid. I think Noon's going to have a good year. I would say don't sleep on the Panthers. I think they're going to make a playoff push.
What do you guys think about the Falcons? Just because, all right, they lost and they blew the game Super Bowl, right? And is this a team that's like ripe for a Super Bowl hangover? You know, I could totally see them not making the playoffs this year. Chris, what do you think of the Falcons?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're going to have a great.
You're wearing a Falcons
as he wears a
jersey,
Julio
yeah.
jersey.
yeah, that's the right guy. So no, I think the offense obviously is going to be great. It's still going to be great. It's the same guys. It's the same pieces. The offensive line is good.
Still so young too. All those offensive weapons.
Yeah, and Matt Ryan's in his prime and everything. So they're going to have a really good offense. I don't know if it's going to be what it was last year. That was a little bit too much.
No more
It's going to
Shanahan,
regress
though.
a little bit. Right. It's
How
going
do
to
you feel
regress
about
a little.
that?
Yeah, I mean, but you know what? The guy coming in now is just basically have to say, let's keep it the same way because look what we did. Why would we change anything? So it's going to be the same formula.
Yeah.
But the defense is what's worrying because they didn't really have a great defense. They did make big plays when they needed to last year, and that's how they made it as far as they did. But their defense isn't anything super special or anything. It's middle of the road at best, I think. So
yeah, you got to realize the
schedule's important.
A lot of times the Falcons, or not just the Falcons in general, teams with good offenses put their defenses in bad spots,
right?
Because they're constantly moving the ball, they're quick, and a lot of times those defenses don't get a chance to rest, especially when you're as quickly as scoring. So the defense a lot of times spends time on the field. Mm-hmm. The Falcons a couple years ago, or last year I should say, had the benefit of a pretty bad schedule too. Now they're playing.
Always helps.
Yeah, now they're playing a first place schedule. It's a little bit different. Out of division they got the Seahawks and they have. I'm trying to find the other game. Is the Packers? No,
Packers.
They play that whole division. They play the North.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's somebody else that I lost.
They play the NFC East division winner.
Right, the Cowboys.
Which is the Cowboys.
The Cowboys. So the Cowboys and
Seahawks.
Cowboys and Seahawks. Two
Back to
tough
back.
games, and at Seahawks.
Right.
That's a big difference. You play that team
play.
as opposed to a third, fourth place team. I think the Falcons finish probably. I'm going to say 8-8, 9-7.
To play devil's advocate on that, I want to say that things change in football, especially things change a lot year to year. Tennessee 2 years ago was awful.
Yeah.
Now they're one of the better teams. It switches very.
I have a hard time with you saying that. Why am I to believe that until they do something?
I'm sorry.
They're one of the better teams?
Let me not
put
say
them
one of
as
the
a
better
sleeper.
teams. Let me say this: their offensive line, 2015, bottom 5. 2016, top 3. How does that switch happen so fast? It's football. That's what happens.
Part of it is Mariota just progressing and becoming a better quarterback.
Well, no, but I'm talking about the offensive line here.
Yeah,
it makes the
but the
offensive line look
stats
better.
will be better if Mariota became became better.
A running quarterback also helps in
No,
our
like
line.
Wayne was just saying about Brady. Brady makes his offensive line look good. If Mariota's getting better, the offensive line looks
Will be
better.
And
Right.
I think the
Well,
Titans,
they ran the ball great,
The
too.
Titans are kind of
Yeah,
like the Jaguars. I feel like the Jaguars.
I
Every
like the Jags.
every year, somebody's like, "Oh, the Jaguars. This is the year they do. This is the year they're good." And every
Really?
year they do the same thing.
Starting with Chad
No,
Henne.
this is the
You
year,
like the
baby.
Chad
Last
Henne?
year,
No,
last
no,
year,
Bortles,
he's right.
baby.
He's right.
He could barely beat out Chad
No,
Henne.
Last year, he's talking about.
I know. I'm talking
last
about
year,
this year, though.
last year the Jaguars this big sleeper team. Oh, everybody the Jaguars, and they stunk.
Okay, well, listen, though.
You know what I'm saying?
Bortles, people are writing him off. He had a horrible year last year. I'm on the Jaguars bandwagon this year. The defense is
Why?
The defense is
Tommy
good.
Coughlin.
I think. Listen, Bortles threw 35 touchdowns 2 years ago. He had
And how much were
17
garbage?
picks or
How much were
something.
garbage time touchdowns?
I mean, come on,
Yeah.
a touchdown's a touchdown. You can't start breaking it down like
But he also
that.
threw
Just
18 or
saying.
20 picks.
Just
He
saying.
threw like 18 picks.
They have-
threw
they-
35 touchdowns.
They have the skill positions there. They have weapons all over the field now. Fournette, Robinson, Hearns. If Bortles, I don't know. Again, I don't know.
Hearns is a weapon.
Well, you have to
Hearns-
understand these
Hearns
two
is a weapon
guys.
for the other team.
Listen, no, these two guys that you just mentioned, the wide receivers, they had great years
Robinson's
2 years
good,
ago
Robinson.
when Bortles had a good year.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Who
it
did?
starts
Robinson
and ends.
did.
Yeah, Hearns had a good year too.
Marquise
I know.
Lee.
Listen, we're going to talk about Alan Hearns all night.
Alan Hearns and Marquise Lee all night.
But
yeah.
listen, I mean,
What
they're-
about their defense?
I love the guy Fournette. I think they have a good defense. I think they have.
That's the key.
And they're in a
the
division.
defense.
They're in that division, which is not that good.
That's the worst division in football.
That's not a
agreed.
good division.
You got
the
the-
AFC South.
You got the Colts starting without luck.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
even know how long yet. You got.
That's not the worst division.
That's
Not
the
a good
worst.
division.
That is
What,
not
the
the worst.
AFC North or
Okay.
the AFC East?
We're gonna
AFC
run-
is bad. How about
We're
that?
gonna run through the
East is
South.
bad.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
run
the
through the.
AFC East is worse.
I'm gonna
AFC,
run
you're
through the
right.
quarterbacks of the AFC South real quick, starting week 1.
Forget
Tom
about the
Savage,
quarterbacks.
Scott Tolzien, Blake Bortles, and Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota looks like Tom Brady in that division right now.
Right. So you got Tennessee Titans who are up and coming and did very well last year. They made a lot of
The
games.
Titans should win that division.
Right.
Yes,
so
I
then
agree.
you got the Colts. Okay. So Luck's out maybe 1 or 2 weeks, but then he comes back, and then the Colts are the Colts again with Luck.
He's gonna come back.
And then the Jaguars, their defense could be unbelievable. They have a ton of talent, young talent. And then the Texans, another great defense. Who, if Deshaun Watson, if Savage isn't the answer, which probably won't be, Watson comes in, and then the team could be really good. They got
agree
Lamar
with that. I
Miller.
like
They got
Watson.
You know what,
Hopkins. They got,
Chris? More good points. Good job.
I like
I
Watson.
agree. Not that bad of a division.
thank you.
No, I'll go to the AFC East. That's a terrible.
Yeah,
division.
AFC East is a disaster.
I mean, Bills, and you want to talk about this? I'm going to just say
so
this real quick.
top-heavy.
The Patriots, everybody talks about how great Brady is during the regular season. Look at who he plays every year, 6 games. The Bills, Dolphins, and Jets, his whole career have been horrible.
All right, hold on.
Well, not horrible always.
I think
No, always. You can't be horrible for 15 years, but think about it.
I think Paul make sure to tell us that the Jets beat him in the playoffs one year. Bart Scott, can't wait.
Let's let Donnie chime in on this. I know he's got
it's
something
just,
to
you
say.
can't call them the worst division. The Dolphins were a playoff team last year. The Patriots
weren't.
won.
Yes, they were.
Yes, they were.
The Dolphins made the playoffs.
Yeah,
Yes.
they lost to the Steelers
Yes,
in
they
week 1.
did.
They
Yeah.
lost to the Steelers in week 1.
The Dolphins
I
made the
know.
playoffs.
Let's not forget about the Patriots that won the Super Bowl, and the Bills have a very good defense.
You think you're
Stop it. Get out of here. Get out.
They do. They had a lot of injuries last year. They do on paper.
Are you
Yes,
trying
they
to get
do.
us excited for this Bills-Jets game? Because it ain't going to happen.
No, I'm not
I don't think
excited
the
about
Bill-
the Bills-Jets
I don't
game.
You think the Jets and Bills are excited about the Bills?
Hold on, Donnie. What are you more excited about, getting married or the Jets Bills?
I'm getting married, of course.
The Jets, Bills.
You got to say that.
Especially when the Jets.
Yeah,
No,
but
but
if you gave me like the Brown Steelers game, all right, maybe I'll start to think about it.
All right. So I think we talked about some teams to watch out for, some things to expect this
What
year.
about the Browns?
We're going to move on to it. We're going to talk
Like the
NFL a
Browns.
lot over the course of the next few weeks. So,
A few months.
I mean, let's continue.
And we're doing predictions later.
But we're going to kind of kick it into a different gear here with fantasy. So today we held our first Bridgeside Sports Fantasy
First annual.
draft.
We could officially say this one's annual.
I say everything's annual. I said the 4th of July thing
I
is
know.
annual. Paul almost killed me. But
That was your old yellow situation. Take Mike in the back. Shut him up.
but we had our first annual Bridgeside Fantasy Draft today. So we're fresh off it. So let's just talk a little bit about how the draft went, because it might help you guys out that are drafting late. You know, we're only at a couple days of drafting left before the season starts. But I mean, let's just kick it with the first round. So this is maybe what to expect in the first round of some fantasy football drafts if you're drafting. We'll tell you how this one went down. All right? So picks 1 through 12. First pick overall was Le'Veon Bell.
You.
Me. So obviously the big question here was Bell or David Johnson.
Why'd you go Bell?
You know, it was really a coin toss. But I went with
think
Bell
it is.
because I just think that he is slightly more explosive and can have those weeks where he just completely wins it for you. Not to say David Johnson can't. I really can't make an argument against David Johnson.
You can flip
really
a coin.
I can.
I really
You
think
flip
it
a
is
coin.
Flip a coin and move on.
So Chris can seem
I
to...
agree. Flip a coin and move
I
on.
mean, for Bell versus Johnson,
Yeah.
I think it's because the Pittsburgh offense is just much better. Much, much, much better. I don't think the Arizona offense
Yeah,
is that
what
good.
happens when Roethlisberger goes down week 4?
Well, then
Not
that's
that
a-
Palmer's
then
gonna
that's
stay
a problem.
healthy.
Then that's a problem.
And don't forget, Arizona wasn't good last year, and David Johnson had the best year of his career.
Well, but okay, the best year of his career. How long is his career? 3 years.
No, I know, but he already had a good year before then, so he's even better.
No, he's very good, and they're gonna feed him. That's what it is with him. It's the volume.
And Bell too. They might kill Bell this year. He's
But they
on.
got-
He's
but
on
they
a
got-
franchise.
Fine by me, baby.
He's a
At
franchise
least
tender.
he's got compliments
I know,
to help him,
I
which
know,
is
I know, I'm
Brown
saying.
and Montavious Bryant and stuff. So you don't have to solely rely on Bell. They have to solely rely on Johnson. And
Yeah.
if that happens, what if teams start stacking the box and Palmer just isn't very good?
But he
It could be
catches a lot
bad.
of passes.
Palmer is
Johnson.
also one reason why I went with Bell. Palmer scares me. I've seen him in the
Right.
playoffs. He's just
old.
seems to choke.
Yeah, but
and he
the
regressed
playoffs,
big
huh?
time last year.
But you're talking about worried. Roethlisberger gets hurt every year. Not that Palmer's always the most healthy, but you can't stack the box against Carson Palmer.
Why?
Not with the weapons he has. He
What
has
weapons?
Brown, J.J. Nelson, Fitzgerald.
What?
Nelson played well.
Palmer
You
throw-
think J.J. Nelson and John Brown are weapons? Like weapons?
Palmer
Weapons?
throws a deep ball better than anybody in football.
Wow, what's his Madden? We're gonna have to look at his Madden rating.
I
Palmer's
agree.
great.
I agree with you.
What did
I
you
agree.
think?
I agree
Ben
with
throws
you. You
the
cannot
best deep
stack
ball.
up on him.
You can't.
I wouldn't
those
say Ben
guys,
throws
those
the
wide
best.
receivers are fly.
Rodgers throws the best.
All right.
Yeah, right.
All right, I want to move on though. So those
Yeah.
were the first two picks, as they probably are in almost
Every
every,
league.
probably
draft.
should
If it's
be.
not, let
Standard
me know. I want
PPR.
to get in your league.
Both standard and PPR.
All right,
I would
relax,
say.
guy. All right, so then 3,
Let me
4,
get in your
5.
league.
3,
Any
4, 5.
surprises?
3, 4, and 5. I got Antonio
Surprise at
Brown
three.
at 5.
Surprise
All right, what's
at
going
three.
on? So let's move on. Antonio
No.
Brown at 5. Really? What kind of league?
That's
is
what I'm
this?
saying. Surprise at 3.
So hold
Odell.
on. 3, 4, 5 went Odell, 3rd overall. I think there's some when you draft in New York, you
It's a
might see
home
that a
pick.
little bit more than other
states.
Other states. Odell went 3, Julio went 4
Julio.
to the guy
He took
over
him.
here.
Over Brown.
And Brown over here.
Brown went 5.
So, I mean, you're wearing the jersey. We got to talk just for a second. Talk about Julio real quick.
Well, I mean, obviously, if logically you got to go Brown over Julio for other people, but he's my favorite player ever. I'm going to take Julio over Brown. You know what I mean? When I get the opportunity to take him, I'm going to take him. Plus, he shouldn't have went. It should have been Antonio and then Julio, not Odell and then Julio. You know what I mean?
Right.
So then Antonio fell to me at 5.
Yeah, Antonio felt that. But what about Julio? What do you want to know? He's the best receiver ever. Maybe.
he's best receiver ever.
Best receiver ever. Can we move on from that?
I got something for you. He's the highest ranked wide receiver in Madden. He's 98. Antonio Brown is 97. Just saying.
All right,
Wow.
that's a tease. It's a tease, guys. That's a tease.
It's a tease.
So we're in the business called a tease. Here.
All right, so that's 3, 4, 5. Again, you're going to see that in most drafts as well. 6, 7, 8. 3 more wide receivers. They went in this order: Jordy Nelson, Mike Evans, AJ Green.
Standard.
Phil, you want to just talk about those 3 wide receivers?
I those are the players I like. I actually like. If I had to pick one, I would pick Evans over the 3 of them. But I do like Nelson a lot playing in. Obviously in the system of the Packers and Rodgers just slinging the ball
He
all
went
over the
off
field
in the fantasy playoffs
I
last
know.
year. Won a lot of guys.
And
championships.
Nelson Rodgers just slings all over the field to Nelson. So I can't argue with Nelson over Evans. But if I had to pick, I'd pick Evans.
Coming in with the next pick was Phil. You had the number 9 pick.
No, I had 10.
Oh no, you had 10. So
McCoy.
number 9, we had another running back, McCoy. I mean, I think that's a good pick. I like McCoy this year. I know some people are a little bit down on him because he's been around for a while. Running backs don't last so long, but to me, he's by far
He's
the best
going
running
down.
back.
Week 6 he'll be hurt.
Yeah, I just
Wait, you mean besides the Bell and Johnson, he's by far? I disagree.
With running backs, you always have to be worried about that one year where they just stink out of nowhere, and you don't see it coming. And McCoy could be the guy that's prime for that.
Okay,
With
Chris.
age.
Chris, you said
I disagree because I think Freeman's better at this point. I think
I took
Freeman's in
Freeman
his prime.
all right. So that gets
Yeah, but
into
Freeman
Phil's-
And
also
on a better
Freeman also
offense.
splits carries, though.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't split as
He has
much
a
as you think
60-40
anymore.
split.
It's
Yeah.
like 65-35.
Yeah,
Ooh,
he
I'm
is
sorry.
taking. He is
But
taking. the
that's a
reins
big
over that.
difference in snaps.
Yeah,
if
but
you think about
McCoy
it.
is the only offensive option on that team. I'm not a big McCoy fan, but I would take him way
But
over Freeman.
This
any
is
day of the
why.
week.
This is why I like Freeman. Is like because Freeman can turn 220 carries into production that other people get with 250 carries. You know what I mean? He makes big plays on that offense.
All right, so if
You know what I mean?
you're telling me if Freeman only gets 30 less carries than McCoy, you're going to get the same production?
Yeah, maybe better because also receptions. I'm talking about and targets. Also, there's targets.
I hear you.
And one year, I think Freeman had almost 60, 70 catches one year.
Thank you.
McCoy's excellent out of the backfield.
I'm liking my Freeman.
But he's older. That's the only difference.
I'm liking my Freeman pick a lot more.
Can I just want to say something? I have to make fun of our producer for this. Not even make fun. He took Michael Thomas the last pick, and then he went to Gronk in the first pick of the second round on the swing.
Right.
I think that's very early
Yeah.
for Gronk.
I think so.
As much as I like him, I mean he's an injury risk waiting to happen. He hasn't played in a long time. He's a game breaker, and he can win you
Absolute
weeks
game
by
breaker.
himself.
And Edelman's hurt.
But again, I don't
He
think
dominates that position.
I think that's too early. He could have taken better players. I think any of the receivers that went in the second round, Hilton, Cooper, Cooks. Des Bryant, I would have taken over him. All those guys ahead of Gronkowski.
I'm super high on Gronk this year. I think that Edelman going out is going to help Gronk big time.
I wouldn't
If this
take
is the
Hilton
year
over
he
him.
could.
Yeah, I wouldn't take
If this
Hilton.
is the year he stays healthy, expect astronomical numbers.
And
I
you
wouldn't
can say
take-
that every year he puts up astronomical numbers. We
He
know he's
doesn't-
going to put up astronomical numbers
If he plays.
he's healthy, but he never fully plays a full year. Don,
I think
what
the
about-
best season of his
when
career.
do you think he would have gone then? Like if you were to give
Or should
a
go.
round and position.
I would say probably end of the second, beginning of the third, because at that point you already have. He'll be your second, third player off the board. If you're picking at if you have a top 3 pick and you take Gronk at one of those spots, so I guess 22 to 28 overall, I think you're in a good spot.
Yeah, but I take Gronk over Hilton. I don't like.
Oh,
Hilton,
you're right. With
if
luck hurt,
with
yeah.
luck
with luck
hurt, you
yeah.
gotta take Gronk over him.
I agree.
How about we give a shout out to the animal and the way he drafted? He did it right.
Do we have to mention this?
Yeah, of course we do. A very Yeah, it was a very interesting way.
When
he
Auto-
went with 4 quarterbacks.
Well, if I just want to make when Auto Pick was picking, the Animals team looked fantastic.
Yeah. His starting team doesn't look bad. Look at it. Look at his starters.
Auto pick can
Pretty
help you
good.
out
Auto
sometimes.
Pick was on fire for him.
He went
was
with
getting
the old
picked.
4 QB strategy.
4 straight QBs. The old 4 straight QBs.
So I guess he's going to play matchups or a little trade bait. I'm not going to trade with
bargaining
him. I don't know
chips.
if you guys are
He said
interested.
bargaining chips.
I got to put my glasses on for this because I can't see his backup running
sorry. The thing that blew my mind, it was 4 straight rounds of QBs.
His backup running back, is Chris Thompson. And on his bench, he has Phillip Rivers, Andy Dalton, Ben Roethlisberger, and his starter is Kirk Cousins.
It was good. I love Kirk Cousins.
He's great, but that's all you need. That's all you need. Robbie Anderson, Torrey Smith, Jamison Crowder. I mean, his tight end is Cameron Brate.
One of his
probably
starters
should have taken a tight end
again.
Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon is the starting flex. I like Joe Mixon, but you need someone to supplement the fact that Mixon's not the starter.
You know what, Animal? I think you know something we don't know. I'm all for it. Good job. You don't have to.
I want to stay.
The grain.
I want to stay on the good side of someone named the Animal. So I'm going to also agree with you that.
Yeah, he's the Animal. He's starting to scam me lately. The way he walks around barking at people, I don't know what's going on with him. Yeah.
We wanted to have him on the show.
So, I mean, listen, we're going to cut it there. We talked a little bit about the first round.
What do you think of Elliott in the second round?
Yeah, Elliott in the second round. Listen, I think he might not be suspended at all.
Yeah. I took Elliott early second round. I think he's.
I don't love that pick.
I think he's worth the gamble. I think he's worth the gamble right now because I'm thinking that it's going to get reduced, and if it gets reduced, he's 100% worth it there.
I love him to what though?
I think it might get cut in half to 3.
That's you're basically.
There he is.
The animal's banging on the door
scaring me right now. I wish we could have a camera on his face right now. He just came and said, "Don't ever talk about my 4 quarterback strategy again."
If he gets suspended, let's say 4 games, right?
Yeah.
That's a third of the fantasy season, regular season, right? Granted, hopefully you have McFadden as a handcuff, but if he gets suspended for 4 games, which is less than the 6, you have to hope he has a really, really, really good year the rest of the year.
Here's the only thing.
He can't get hurt. He can't miss any time, and he has to be very productive. You can't have him miss 4 games and then have like 4 so-so or bad games because then you're looking at a bust.
But there's no chance you miss 0 games.
You're right about that. I'm going to go with just a couple points real quick on it. If you take Elliott, target McFadden, and target a lot of running backs. I have a lot of running backs on my bench just in case you said all those things happen.
I think you should do that anyway.
I agree. But the second thing I say about Elliott real quick is that if it gets knocked down to 4, I think he's suing the NFL. And I think he's going to sue the NFL and it's going to drag out for a while the way Brady's did. If it gets knocked down to 3 and he accepts the suspension, he's worth the pick because that was Bell last year. Bell last year was suspended 3 games.
2.
Went down from 3 to 2. You're right. But I think he's still worth the pick at 3. I think, but just from my reading, the mess that the NFL has done with this whole thing about how the one investigator. They had one investigator from the NFL on the case. That investigator said that he shouldn't be suspended. And then when Elliott wanted that investigator to talk at the appeal, the NFL didn't let them talk. There's a whole mess going on. So I just think it's going to get dragged out way things. And if he gets 3 games, it's worth it. If not, I think he's going to sue him and it's going to get dragged out.
It could be a great pick. I would target.
It's risky.
I would target him more in the latter of the second round.
Agreed.
I think there were some running backs you could have gotten there that are more reliable.
I did reach a little bit but you know what? At that pick, I had an end of the first round, early second round. If you want him, you got to get him there. If I didn't want him there, I'm not going to get him.
What, like a Jai you're saying?
You know
like a Jai?
Even DeMarco Murray.
Gordon. I like Gordon. I like Gordon a lot. The Animal, you got him. He's great. Gordon's great. Gordon's great. Animal, please, I swear. You pair him up with Phillip Rivers, it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Rivers throws to Gordon.
Your third quarterback, Phillip Rivers?
All right. So listen, we'll talk more about this league as it progresses. We'll be able to kind of track some of these players as the season goes on.
Mm-hmm.
But it's time to move on to our next segment, which is we're going to dive into Madden. Right? This is a game we've been playing our whole lives. I'm sure we've had some memorable games. Does anybody want to just talk? I think we should kick it off with your most memorable Madden experience. Phil, you got one?
I got one that's going to pair with Win. So I'm going to lead right into Win. Win and I were lucky enough to participate in the Madden Challenge of 2005. It was the 2004 game, though.
No, it was 2005 game.
No.
Ray Lewis on the cover.
No, I thought Vic was
game.
on the cover.
Okay.
Okay.
The year after.
Okay. So 2005.
We were seniors in high school.
2005, we went down to South Street Seaport. We had this huge tournament. It had like a tent and just the games, 2-minute quarters. And you just...
Quick.
Yeah, it's 2-minute quarters because it was a huge tournament. There was like hundreds of people there playing. And
Is there a prize?
yeah, there was a
$1
prize.
million.
Well, you have to win New York. You have to win New York and then play. You know, this is going
It
everywhere.
was a very big
So
tournament.
I
dropped out of school just to become a Madden.
There were
professional.
100,000
So my
people.
team, as much as it hurt me, my team was the Eagles. I think Wynn was also the Eagles.
Yeah.
You know, they had Owens that year, Westbrook, McNabb.
They were
So,
stacked.
and what you say about the 2-minute quarters? Had the game, I was driving down, and Westbrook fumbled. With 2-minute quarters, that's it.
one turnover, you're
one
done.
turnover, you're done. And there's no control of fumbles. You challenge it. I lost the challenge. But that is my Madden experience. I played. I lost to the Seahawks. I remember the guy won a game-winning field goal kick.
Did you win a lot of games in that tournament?
I lost the first game. I lost the first game.
I immediately lost.
Wynn won the first game, and then he played the second
So-
game. I'm going to lead it right to Wynn playing the second game.
Second game, a lot of people. It was like you said, probably thousands of people at this thing. And I'm not going to brag. I was pretty good in Madden growing up in high school.
You're not going to
Not
brag.
gonna
All
brag.
you do is brag.
I was pretty good.
you
What
kidding
can
me?
I say? So, long story short, before the second game starts, some woman comes up to me and she goes, excuse me, do you mind being filmed? I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, I'm from MTV and we're filming True Life. And the person you're about to play,
True
we're
life, I'm a
following."
loser.
No, True Life.
no.
Like True Life.
You won True Life.
True Life, I'm a gamer. The
come I never heard
person
of
I
this?
was playing is from Staten Island. His name, I think, was like Youngblood or something.
I don't remember his name.
And I'm like, yeah, all right.
Killed
and,
you.
And now I'm like, this is unbelievable. I'm looking
Lot
at
of
these
pressure,
guys. I'm like,
yeah.
this is sick. He's the Falcons. Vic was
Oh, it's
unstoppable in that
unfair,
game.
yeah.
I was the
I thought
Eagles.
that was 2004, man.
I'm beating him 10-0 going into the half, and he hits a bomb with Peerless Price. Remember Peerless Price?
Yeah.
He had a 98 speed in that game, right? He was a third and like long, and he hit like a post down the seam. He scored a touchdown. But it was my ball at half. I'm beating him 13-10 at
Wasn't
some
this
point.
a long story short?
Yeah, well, whatever. 13-10. I'm killing the clock. Brian Westbrook fumbles.
That's the thing.
Right, yeah.
Same thing.
Brian
Westbrook
Westbrook had
had a
an
fumble.
82 carry in that game. It was very, very... They didn't have the cover up at that point in the game, so you just got laid out left and right. That was the first year of the hit stick.
So that
Yeah,
tournament
that's
was all luck because it's like if somebody
no.
fumbles or
So-
It was
turnover.
horrible, yeah.
Yeah, so I was beating him 14-13 it was. And then he gets the ball 4th and 17. I got
Fourth
him
and 17.
4th and 17 with Vic, and I'm spying him with Mark Simino. Remember Mark
Yes.
Simino, the linebacker on the Eagles? Mark's all of a sudden, he rolls out. I'm like, oh my God, he's running for the first down. And he dove and got the first, kicked the field goal.
And
I
wait,
lost.
I'm sorry. Can we just say,
16-14.
I'll never forget.
Yeah. It was a horrible loss.
He turned to the camera and went, "That's how you run with Mike Vick.
Yeah.
That's how you run with Mike Vick."
No,
and
he didn't.
you just see Wynn on
And
the
I-
other
no,
side, like,
and I-
One of the greatest stories ever.
and the guy.
I gotta watch
And the
this.
guy.
Wait,
I got a question. So this is
and
on
the guy-
TV.
I don't. It
Yeah,
was on
I had
TV.
it taped on a VHS. I don't know where it
Oh,
went.
you just
God.
you see
It was
Wynn turn
2015.
around.
I
You see
punched
Wynn
the
turn around and go.
No, you didn't.
I punched
And
you.
this
broke
guy's
the
screaming, "That's how you run with Mike Vick. That's how you run with Mike
Did you
Vick."
break the screen?
No, because the screens were covered. They had an overhang like this, like a metal thing, because of the glare and stuff. So I went boom, and I punched the
You
screen.
can't do that.
Oh,
bro.
I did it.
He was
Wynn-
tight.
Wynn goes after the guy.
I had my Kurt Warner
He was
jersey on.
tight.
I have to ask you though, is this the thing where if you made it to like the finals, you were on the Madden bus, that show that was on ESPN?
That was a
Oh,
couple
might
years
have
later.
been before that.
It was
Yeah.
before that. It was the
that
same
was the
thing,
Madden
yeah.
challenge,
Yes,
right?
this was.
So you would have been on the bus, maybe.
I don't know if they had the bus then.
They
but
didn't
this
have
was
the bus at that
infancy.
point.
I mean,
This was
listen, he made it to the second round. He didn't make it to like the semifinals.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can't talk about the Madden.
Put
bus.
it, this guy was being followed around, and I really should have beat him. So I really wasn't worried about the rest of the tournament if I got through that.
Plus, you would have. Yeah,
That's
you
true.
You had the camera there.
Yeah,
that's
that was
a-
I would have knocked him out.
They start following around Wynn. Can we follow around you, sir?
All right. Well, I'm glad I asked because that's awesome. I didn't know that.
Oh, you never heard that story?
No.
No, I never
But
knew
anyway,
that.
that's a great segue right into the new Madden just came out, and we're gonna kind of just look at some.
Depressed.
I'm sorry. I think we just struck a nerve.
He just looks depressed.
He wants to
He's
play
just like
Madden
this.
right now.
I would love to play.
I have
Madden,
it.
actually. Yeah,
We
it's
play
great.
tournaments.
All right, we
got
got to move on.
School.
Enough. Get over
I
it.
really don't want to move on.
Madden.
Get over it, bro. The Madden's out. New Madden's out. We're gonna look at some of the ratings and just see how they did. Because I mean, it's one of my favorite things to do. When you open the game up, you like to look at how Madden ranks all these guys and say, what? What is he thinking?
Yeah.
There's always
Madden still do the ratings himself.
There's always,
I hope.
Is John Madden
I
still
hope.
alive?
Yes, he's still
Yes.
alive. How dare you?
That would have been the biggest news ever. That's terrible.
This guy was going to be on the Madden bus. He doesn't even know if Madden's alive.
Madden, I haven't seen John Madden in relevance.
he doesn't do it anymore.
Okay, so how am I supposed to know he's still alive? He's not in anything. His name is just attached to
on
it.
NFL.com. Would have said Madden's dead.
Sorry.
Like it would have said.
Wait, hold on. Chris said that John Madden dying. I'm sorry. Chris said that John Madden dying would be
Worst
the
headline.
biggest news ever.
On
The
NFL.com.
biggest news ever.
They would have canceled a week of the season.
Yeah, they would have had a ceremony and everything.
School's closed.
All
One of Grace coach.
Stop being difficult. We're jumping into the rankings. Let's look at the quarterback here. Chris, we'll start with you. All right, these are the QBs. There's only 199. He's Tom Brady. Take a look at some of these QBs. Anything that you have a problem with up here?
I mean, I think Rodgers should be 99 too, but he's 98. Whatever. Matt Ryan 96. They're playing off last year. I think
That's
a little bit too high.
Too high.
Yeah,
I think he's
definitely
more
agree.
like
I'm not
90.
a big Matt Ryan fan.
I would say 90 he should be, not 96. It's
Drew
really
Brees
high.
a 92, Ryan is a
Exactly.
96. That's a
Exactly.
problem for me.
Yep,
I'm sorry.
I'm okay
Big problem.
I'm okay with Brees at 92.
What are you
That
doing?
is, that is a big problem, though.
Okay.
He should be lower than Brees. And then Roethlisberger 91 is too high too.
Way
the
too
guy
high.
he's
above
very consistent,
Roethlisberger is above Luck, Wilson, Carr, Newton.
and he's going way behind all those guys in drafts. So in fantasy drafts,
Yeah.
so you know he's obviously not as good as those guys.
Yeah, he won a couple Super Bowls, I guess.
He did,
that's it.
but so did Eli. Where is he? Go all the way down the list.
Well, I mean, let's be
Go all the way down the
realistic
list.
here. Where is Eli? Eli's coming in. Oh, my
Eli's
God.
coming in at 80.
Oh, that's horrible. Eli's
80.
behind
Let's
Tyrod
just-
Taylor, Ryan Tannehill. That's
Alex
horrible.
Smith
That's
is higher
terrible.
than him.
Dude, Alex
Smith is higher than
higher
Eli.
than
Tannehill,
Eli
that's
Manning.
terrible.
I know we're Giants fans, but let's be serious.
It must be the
Can
algorithm or something.
Can I just say something that
Poor John Madden doing the ratings and
Teddy Bridgewater
Have you
is
seen that?
Teddy Bridgewater is 1 point lower than Eli Manning. You talk about
his career
Roethlisberger.
might be over. Teddy
You
Bridgewater.
talk about Roethlisberger winning 2 Super Bowls. Eli has the same amount of Super Bowls, and Roethlisberger is 12 points
That's
better than
straight
him.
up disrespect.
And Mariota's really, really good, but he's behind Alex Smith and Joe Flacco and Tyrod Taylor.
This is
Ryan
why I don't play
Tannehill.
the game anymore.
Ryan Tannehill's above those guys. It's a joke.
This
it's
is
a
not
joke.
good. Let's
True
switch
life
it over to
Armageddon.
running backs. Donnie, if you can get the running backs up, we'll go through them quick.
It's kind of weird that the running backs nobody really has that game breaking speed. Who's the fastest running back you guys remember from games past? I know who mine was. Who was like awesome, but there was one guy who always was as fast every
Steve
year.
Slate.
Reggie Bush.
Reggie Bush is one, but not who I was thinking of.
I said Steve
Green Bay
Slate.
Pack is great.
Amon Green?
Amon Green.
Amon
Green? Yeah?
Amon
But
Green
he
is almost
can
like a
hold on to the ball.
97 speed.
All right,
He's
so we're going to
awesome.
go through the running backs. The top
Priest
running
Holmes
back
is
is
great.
Le'Veon Bell at 97. David Johnson at 94. Seems a little low, no?
It's hard to get a high ranking in Madden.
McCoy 92. DeMarco Murray 91. Zeke 90. Freeman 89. Ajay 87. Gordon 87.
I think Zeke should be higher
But then
than
we
both
got-
McCoy and
I
Murray,
agree.
though.
Giovanni Bernard coming in at 86.
That's weird.
Seeing this just
What?
That's weird.
seeing
That's
this just
weird.
makes me want to do a fantasy draft in Madden. This was so much fun.
Giovanni Bernard 86. Come on.
Maybe,
That's really
maybe
high.
2 years ago.
Yeah,
Donnie, can you
that's
scroll a little
really
further
high.
down? I just want to see some. Keep going. Yeah, Gurley at
Like, Gurley's
at
below
85.
Jamal, I'm sorry,
Giovanni
hold on
Bernard.
one second. Jamal Charles is 84.
Is this
Jamal
updated?
Charles might not sniff the field this year.
Oh,
Might
yeah,
not. I'm
he's
saying
gonna-
he could.
he's gonna
Still a
touches.
stud, baby.
He's
Come
still
on.
a
Stud. Okay.
He's got the talent still, but
All right. Let's go to wide receiver. We got to move through these pretty quickly.
but those were bad.
All right.
Those were
so
bad.
So were the
wide
quarterbacks.
receiver is ridiculous because Julio Jones is number
Julio
one.
Jones number
he
one,
should not
baby.
be. He should
Let's
not
go.
be. He is not better than Antonio Brown.
So we'll
Some
go
may
through.
say.
We got
Offensive
Julio's
line.
the top wide receiver.
I don't even think he's better than
98.
Beckham.
Beckham should be ahead
Julio
of AJ Green.
98, boys and girls. Antonio 97. 1 point behind him. They should both be 98, I think.
Why
Well,
is Beckham a 93?
That's a very good
You think
question.
they're 5 points better than Odell Beckham?
No, Beckham should be higher.
You
than
think
that.
AJ Green's better than
Beckham's better
Beckham?
than AJ Green? Yes.
I actually really don't have too much of a problem with those quarterbacks. They were pretty much, as we talked about in the draft, that's pretty much how they were set up there. Other
Wait, you
than-
mean
But-
the wide receivers? You said quarterbacks.
yeah, no, the wide receivers. The list
Yeah,
okay.
Julio, but Julio 98 and Beckham 93. That's way too
Yeah,
big of a
yeah.
disparity.
Beckham should be higher than that.
Okay.
Way too big of a disparity.
Beckham should be like 95.
Okay. I agree
Julio
with
should not be better than Brown though.
No. They
I
should
think
be.
I think Jordy Nelson should have a lot more love than this. I don't even see. He's not
Jordy
even a
Nelson
90.
91.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed him. That's my fault.
And that's fine because he's older. Hopkins, pound for pound, he could be up there with those guys.
Yo.
So I agree with
Hopkins
that.
is great.
Hopkins
if he had a
is great.
decent quarterback, he'd
Dez
be-
should be lower.
Dez is,
Very
a 90,
injury
Dez
prone.
is a 91. He's the fifth.
He should be
highest.
lower than those guys.
All right. All right. Well, anyway, it's always fun to look
Can
at
I just see
these.
Gronk real quick? I'm sorry.
Tight
I just want
end?
to see his tight end.
I think he's
Real
like
quick,
90.
I know
Killing
the
me,
last
Smalls.
thing. It's the last
I
thing.
think he's like
is-
98, man.
Yeah, he should be, but I want to see.
No,
like,
he might.
what's his injury? It's got to be like 12.
Oh, we're discussing that. Yeah,
No, Gronk. I mean, he's definitely the best tight end in the game, but
Yeah.
tight ends are very.
fickle.
Yeah, like 1 week they're good. Whatever. We don't.
They get
have
hurt a lot.
We don't have
It's
to. I'm
taking
getting
too
yelled
long.
at by the producer. We don't have to go into Gronk.
Yeah, enough already.
QOTN.
Forget
QOTN.
him.
We got to move on.
All right, we got to move on.
Yeah, forget Gronk. He's on your team, but forget him. Yeah, good pick.
I got him on 2 teams.
Yeah,
Cool.
Congratulations.
free money.
All right, cool. I don't know what to say. All right, let's move on. Question of the night time. Which two teams?
98, by the way.
Thank
Bronx
you. Donnie.
98, thank you. Which two teams are going to meet in the Super Bowl in January? February? Is it first week of February? Last
Usually
week of
February,
January?
yeah.
First,
Usually
yeah.
the first week of February.
Mhm.
So obviously so early to even think about this.
Right.
But, I mean, let's just go around. Phil, who do you see as the top contenders at this point?
All right, so I have to take the easy pick of top contenders AFC. How could you not? It's obviously, the Patriots. Those are top contenders AFC. Patriots. I love the Broncos defense. I love all the teams. I'm just not. I don't think Trevor Siemian could take them there.
You should have signed Romo.
Yeah, I don't think they could convince Romo to play, but I don't think Simeon's going to take him there. The Chiefs like the Chiefs in the regular season. They're never going to do it in the playoffs. It's just
Alex
I'm sorry.
Smith is just never going to make it
They're never
happen,
going to do it in the playoffs.
I don't know why they don't
gonna-
get that.
Who's going to stop Brady from making the Super Bowl? I don't see anyone do it. Maybe the Steelers, but they never beat the Patriots. So Patriots, and then in the NFC, I'm going to go. It sounds like going with chalk, but this team's always good. I think they're always going to come and always go with the Packers. If I had to pick a Super Bowl team right now, I love the Giants. I think the Giants are going to be. I think they're going to be a very good year this year. But I think their offensive line is going to be their Achilles heel come playoff time and everything, unless their defense just really steps into being dominating. So I think the Giants do have a possibility of making the Super Bowl, but they're not going to be my pick. I'm going to say Packers.
Wait, Packers Patriots Super
Yeah, I'm
Bowl
going to say
would
Packers
be sick.
Patriots. Would be
That's
huge. I think
that
the
hasn't happened.
I think
No.
the NFL's
That
head would
hasn't happened.
explode. I think
That
this
would be a great Super Bowl.
Brady, Rodgers.
It almost happened last year. Except,
Yeah.
But then the Falcons,
yeah,
Julio.
they steamrolled them.
All right, Win, who do you think?
Hate to do it, but you got to go Patriots in AFC. There's really, like Phil said, there's really nobody who's going to compete
them.
with them. They got 6 wins.
Stop
In
them.
they got 6 wins in the division. They're going to win with 13. They're going to win 12, 13 games minimum. They'll get a 1-2 seed and they'll walk into the Super Bowl. All right, Am
I don't
wrong?
know if they'll walk right in,
But
but
none of those teams can stop
Nobody
them, like I
stops.
said, yeah.
They're not losing to the Broncos. They're not losing to the Chiefs. The Steelers every year. They're just, it's not going to happen. The NFC. Call me a homer. Giants go to the Super Bowl. Eli wins the MVP. I said, "This is all you kidding me?"
Eli
last
wins
week.
the MVP.
I call me a homer, but
And
the
they
Giants have the best defense, I think, in football.
So do I.
Right?
I agree with that.
You're
That's-
a
that's-
homer.
If the offensive line, which everybody saw how bad the line was last year, I don't think that they don't have a plan to fix that.
They can't be worse, is what you're saying.
No, not even that. I think they must have done some things to say, all right, we're not going to go get anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with the Giants in the Super Bowl. Eli wins MVP.
And they beat the Patriots.
Wait, do they
obviously.
win?
That's
They
the
beat the
one team
Patriots?
that could beat Brady.
And they go 3-0 in Super Bowls versus
absolutely.
Patriots?
Absolutely.
I
He's
mean,
got his number.
That's a crazy.
He's got his
Yeah,
number.
why not?
I agree with
No
if
way.
he's going,
What do you mean no way?
They're
They
going to
beat
win for the third time. They already beat them
They
twice.
beat-
in
they're
the Super
gonna
Bowl.
beat
What chance
them.
they do that again?
Hold on.
It's
real
not
quick.
possible.
Hold on a second.
It's 100. That's
It's
it.
definitely possible, Giant fan. And the Patriots,
You know what the odds
the
of that?
Patriots have not scored a point in the first quarter of any Super Bowl. Think about that.
Okay, but
That's
the
actually
Patriots
mind blowing.
Okay, the Patriots went to how many Super Bowls now?
7.
And they haven't
and
scored
they
a point in
won
the first
5, and they lost the only 2 to the Giants.
And they'll lose a third if they
Again?
face them.
I don't know.
Why not?
I don't know, man.
You're
right.
telling me if the Giants make the Super Bowl, they can't beat the Patriots? You don't think Brady's head maybe a
First of
little
all,
bit?
I don't think the Giants are going to make the Super Bowl.
Okay, well,
do
that's
I.
my
I
pick.
think they have a legitimate shot. I don't think they will. I think
right, that's
the Cowboys. They're going to fall upon.
I
the
mean,
playoffs.
this is like if I brought like my eight-year-old nephew on, like Eli Manning's going to win MVP and the
Yeah.
Giants are going to
Wow.
win the Super Bowl.
Wow, that was
I mean,
just
can we
straight
can we be
disrespect.
realistic here for a
Realistic
second? First of all, the Eli
disrespect.
Manning, Teddy Bridgewater is only 1 point lower in Manning. How's he going to win MVP?
First of all, you want to talk...
He hasn't played in a year.
Quote-unquote, Why? Who is so great in the NFC that is that much better than the Giants?
Well, I think I'm going to
the
say
Giants won 10 games last year, and they've gotten better.
Let's get their
I don't
picks.
understand. And their defense will be that much better.
I think the Giants could be in the championship game.
Silly.
I think one team you got to talk about, nobody's talking about yet, is the Seahawks still. The Seahawks are still a very good team.
Okay.
And you know
they're
what?
a playoff team, and they're a team that can do damage because they've been there before.
Sorry,
too.
but what about the trade they just made from the Jets? When the Jets in their
got Sheldon
exodus of
Richardson
getting
now, too,
rid
yeah.
of any player that could possibly
Their D
win
is
them a
is
game.
sick still.
They just want to lose every game. Sheldon Richardson is now on the Seahawks, which is just scary.
That-
Front
yeah,
seven.
their
is
D
scary.
is sick.
I'm just saying.
They're always good.
So you got Patriots Seahawks then?
I think the Patriots are obviously the favorite. I mean, when I look at other teams to maybe contend with them, I think the AFC West is pretty good. I think I'm big on the Broncos. I think the Chiefs are really good. I just wish they didn't have Alex Smith.
I think the team that could
And I
come
think
out
the
of
Raiders are
that's
good.
that's what I was going to say. If one team could get out of the West, it would be the Raiders because the Chiefs aren't going to do it. They're not going to. The Chiefs can't score with the Patriots. Happens every time. They go down by 10 and that's it. They're never going to catch up to them down by 10 by Alex Smith. And you tell me Simeon? I'd rather have Alex Smith than Trevor Simeon. So you got to go Carr.
And
if someone's going to beat them, it's going to be the Raiders. I agree with that. I forgot the Raiders.
The Broncos are not beating them.
No, they don't have the quarterback.
They don't. Brady is not losing to
Probably
Trevor
not.
Simeon.
Probably not.
And the Chiefs don't. The Chiefs would have a shot if they had a different. Well, if like Mahomes, let's say, came in like halfway through the year or something, and their D would have to be really good. But I don't think
I don't think Alex Smith is that bad.
I don't think the Chiefs D is at that elite level. I think it's very, very good, but I don't think it's at.
So
that
then you're
elite
saying
level.
Mahomes, a rookie quarterback, is going to beat Brady?
Well, with the D, I said they have to have an elite
not
D.
gonna
You know what?
Because Alex Smith just isn't gonna do it. He's just not.
The more we look at this, man, it's really ridiculous. This might be, the least amount of competition
parity.
the Patriots have had in a long time. Maybe this will be the year, but just when everybody expects them to walk with it easy, that they'll stumble somewhere along the way.
So you got Patriots Seahawks.
I think the Patriots are the obvious favorite. I can't pick it.
NFC?
And you taking
right now.
Seahawks from the NFC?
I just wanted to throw them.
I'm sorry.
Into the
I'm
ring.
sorry. I thought that's
So
what
who's your team? Because we're running out of
Yeah.
time.
I like the Packers a lot, but I'll say Seahawks just to switch it up.
I
a
like
little
the
bit.
Seahawks better than the Packers.
So you're saying Pats Seahawks? Pats win
No, I'm saying Seahawks. I'm going to
Seahawks
say
win it all?
Seahawks
versus Pats,
versus the Pats. Yeah,
and they beat them.
sure, why not?
All right.
All right.
I'm just going to go against the grain just to not go Patriots, but it's obviously the Patriots, the AFC. If I was to pick another team, I was going to say the Raiders before any of you guys said anything about the Raiders.
So go ahead.
Honestly, I think the Raiders have a shot to also have maybe above average D if certain guys pan out.
Max
That would be
very
the
good.
only way they could beat the Patriots. The D has to get better because their offense is definitely good enough. And then my team in the NFC, the Minnesota Vikings. Watch out
See you later.
for
Next
the
week.
Minnesota
I'm sorry.
Vikings.
I'm
Donnie
sorry.
just put his head down.
You made fun of win for Eli and the Giants,
going
and you're
against the
going to
grain.
tell me that Sam Bradford from the Minnesota Vikings
Sure.
is going to go to the Super Bowl?
You want to talk
That's
about
horrible.
a guy, Sam Bradford, really,
That
Chris?
is, I'm sorry.
You should
gonna let
lose
me
your-
talk?
Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
Let him
you
talk.
deserve,
Donnie
you
got
deserve it.
mad.
You're right. You deserve it.
So
That
go
should have
look-
been, are you
look
kidding
at,
me?
Look at what Bradford did last year, and don't look. I mean, not now, but just look at it later. And all you need is a game manager for that team. That defense is going to be up there with the Giants' defense, Minnesota Vikings. defense.
Can I budge
They-
you?
They have a better running game than the Giants. They don't have better weapons on the offense, but they're built to be what the Giants should have been built to be.
Yeah.
That's what they're built for.
So you're saying Bradford's
Clock
better
management.
than Manning?
Well, he's safer. He doesn't
you
throw as many
kidding me?
picks. Go look.
Come
look.
on,
Yeah, I think
Chris.
last year he threw 26 touchdowns or 24 touchdowns and 6 picks.
Yeah, because every pass was 3 yards.
No, because there's a game manager.
Who
That's the
wants
smart
that?
way.
All right, listen.
That's
All right,
the
wait a minute.
smart
Hold
way
on.
to
No,
go.
just like going into overtime. Hold
Just
on a
like you
second.
said,
I
Alex.
didn't say win. I say go to the Super Bowl. I didn't say win the Super Bowl.
Chris,
Quickly
you're telling me.
win. Quickly make your
All right,
point.
fine. Just let me say this. You said before that the whole NFL is going to this big offensive explosion, spreading guys
No,
out.
I didn't.
We had this conversation.
You all said everybody's trying to do pass. I said, well, that's if you're built to do that. I said.
So
if you're
you're
not
telling
built
me
to do that,
the
you have
Vikings
to do
and
something
Sam
else.
Bradford, the game manager,
Right.
are going to beat the Seahawks, the Packers. Forget the Giants. I don't even bring them up.
Yes. Why not?
Because he stinks.
Are the Seahawks,
All right,
that
listen.
dominant that they're going to beat everybody?
Yes, they're
No,
way better
they're
than
not.
the Vikings.
Their offense-
The game manager is
Put it
going to
this-
go into Seattle and beat Seattle.
Actually, the Vikings' offense is better than the Seattle Seahawks' offense.
Are you out of your mind?
Yes.
Anyway,
Yes, it is.
I'm cutting this.
Yes,
Listen,
it is.
No,
What?
no.
This
What-
is
what?
like the McGregor-Mayweather fight. I'm calling it.
Watch.
All right?
Hey, who
I'm
won?
calling it.
Who won? Who got the decision?
Neither of you are either
Yeah,
of
I
those
know.
guys.
Split this. Gotta be kidding me.
And their defense is probably going to be better.
Chris,
too.
I love you.
Anyway.
but come on. I like the Vikings defense, but
As you
Bradford
can see,
really...
Bradford.
Can you stop?
Don't
can't
say that
stop.
about
Alex
Bradford.
Smith can't win the
Go
Super Bowl.
look what
Sam Bradford
Bradford
can't.
did.
Okay.
Go
All
look
right.
what Bradford
I did look. He set the
lot of
record for
debate.
completion percentage. Hey, we didn't start till 9:03. We got another 2 minutes. All right, stay in the control room. Unbelievable.
Let Boo talk. Go ahead.
Sorry, Boo,
Mike
go
has to
ahead.
talk.
Never again. You're not invited back. Ever again.
I think you're not invited back.
So that wraps it up. Listen, a lot of debate on set. That's a good thing. We're going to have to just see how the season plays out.
Sam Bradford.
Next week, we'll be coming to you with
I didn't say
another
he's great.
Bridgeside Sports Live Monday night at 9. As always, I want to just remind you guys to tune in tomorrow night for Bridgeside Live. It's another live performance. You can catch that at 9 o'clock tomorrow, and you'll find the middle ground. We'll be playing on stage right here. So tune in for that. Should be a great show. And again, thank you guys for spending your Labor Day with us, and we'll see you next Monday.
We out.